Before I get this video going, I just want to give a shout out to my man TC with Grim Reaper Transport. If you don't subscribe to him, then click over here and do him a favor and subscribe to his channel. He put out a video that was kind of along the lines of this one. I had a few other thoughts that I'd figure I'd toss into the video also, but he gave me the idea. He needs your help, so go subscribe to him. He's got a lot of great ideas. So, on with the video.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but winter is coming. And there's some stuff I want to remind you about. So let's get to it. So the approach of winter brings with it some special circumstances. Right now it is October 9th, I believe, and the weather is just weird. One of the things you have to worry about as we go into winter is the changing of the seasons. So right now, depends on where you're going, you might need shorts or you might need insulated pants and winter jackets. You could be in 80 degrees one day and 40 degrees the next day. So just packing to get on the road is something that you have to think about at this time of the year. You have to pack enough clothes so you can be comfortable in all the different temperatures. So it's kind of like living in Michigan year-round. The other thing to think about is just the weather where you're going. The weather is going to change. I'm currently on a run headed to Reno, Nevada, and I have looked ahead for all of my weather going out that direction, and surprisingly, I've got really good weather, it looks like, going through there. Currently, I am in Iowa, trying to get into Nebraska, but out there in Wyoming at Elk Mountain, they have a 4-mile-an-hour wind, which is like unheard of out that way this late in the year, but I'll take it. Cheyenne's reporting 0 wind, which is crazy. So that's good. I'll be able to scoot through Wyoming with no wind-related issues. But the weather can change in a moment. So I'm constantly watching the apps that I use to monitor the wind and the weather and different storms that are going to be coming through. Now, speaking of apps, I could give you a whole list of all kinds of different apps that are out there that are good, that do the job. The more important thing on what apps that you use is that you use a few and you get to know them really well and you know how to use all the features that they have. It doesn't do you any good to have 10 different weather apps that have gobs of features that you don't know how to use. So all you're doing is looking at the radar and seeing what's ahead of you right now. That's not what you need to do. You need to forecast weather days out so that you can see what you're driving into when you get out to wherever you're going. So my suggestion is to pick a few apps and then get really good at using them. There's all kinds of them. There's Windy, there's the Wind Compass, there's My Radar, Weather Underground, the Weather Channel. There's the Wally or whatever that is. There's a whole bunch of different weather apps that are out there that are really good. Some of them are very specific in what they do, and it's a little harder to get forecasting that will make sense to a normal person like us. Radar Omega is awesome, but it's got a whole lot of stuff in there that the normal person wouldn't understand. It's got tons of features. But My Radar, pretty simple. It just does I mean, it does other stuff, but if you use it just for the radar portion of it, which is what I do, I can see what the radar is looking at. It gives me alerts and things like that. Wind Compass and the Windy apps, I've gotten really good at using those so I can forecast what I'm driving into in the current situation. But get the apps, learn how to use them, and then use them. It also doesn't hurt to have a weather radio in your truck and just leave it turned on so that anytime that there is a weather alert that pops up in the exact place that you're at, it will alarm and immediately let you know. Jeez. Crap. So that bump was more than what it seemed. It's not about having a bad day, it's about how you deal with the bad day. So what happened was that bump, somehow something happened and it bent the bracket on my steering. So I had to get out here and bend it back into place. It bent down and was rubbing on my drag link here, or tie rod, the crossbar, and it was making it so the steering wouldn't recenter itself. There was like a drag on the steering. So I stopped here to check it out, and this bracket was bent. So I had to bend it back up into place. I guess there's going to be some more engineering into that. When I get home, I'll get some more metal welded into it, make it a little bit stronger so it doesn't bend like that. But that was a pretty violent bump. Back to the video. The next thing to worry about is your truck. Make sure that you have the appropriate equipment in your truck. Now, I travel with all of my stuff in here, all tools and things like that, year round. So I don't have to worry about re-equipping my truck in that manner. I also have lots and lots of snacks and like peanuts and stuff. So I have extra food. If you get stuck in some weather somewhere, you want to have some extra food. I always travel, I've got a blanket, so I've got blankets and things like that. And I always travel with my boots because I never know if I'm going to be in mud or water or things like that when I'm either loading or unloading. So I have my boots and things like that. This time of year, you're going to want to carry a jacket that's warm, maybe a pair of gloves, because it's been pretty chilly a few of these days. And you want to look at your tires. Take a look at your tires and see if the tread depth is appropriate. Make sure, you should be doing that anyway during your pre-trips, but take a look at it and think about what we're driving into in the next coming months. So it might be time to get a new set of tires, or it might be time to maybe an early retirement for the tires that you have. The tires that I have right now, this is their last trip. I'm going to go deliver this thing to Reno, and then I'm going to turn around and come back, and then I'm going to look into getting some tires maybe at a Les Schwab or something like that. But I'm going to have new tires before I get back to Goshen on this run. It's always best to have brand new tires going into the winter weather rather than buying them in the spring and wearing them half out before you get to winter and then trying to make it through winter with what you got. I know the load boards are a little slim these days, and it's a little harder to kind of plan what you want to do. You almost got to grab what's ever available and deal with the weather that's on the road, but you still want to look ahead and plan your routes. I mean, there are some things that we know about that are coming, so when you're looking at a load, you might think to yourself, well, that might be a bad idea. Case in point was the hurricane that we just went through. If you're going to be on that borderline of being able to deliver before everything shut down, before the hurricane hit, then you probably wouldn't want to take that load, because there were guys that were stuck with campers for days, several days after that hurricane went through, because the dealer said absolutely not, don't deliver it, and then they got stuck with it because they already had it. So you got to plan your routes. Now this coming week, we've got a pretty big Arctic cold front that's going to be dropping down from Canada, and it's going to set off a whole lot of different kind of weather. So you have to watch those kind of things. This new cold front that's going to be dropping down is going to bring snow to northern Minnesota and parts of Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan. But it's going to push way down in the country, and they say it's going to interact with the warm, wet air that's already down south, and there'll be some big pop-up thunderstorms, possibly severe, that'll be stringing up everywhere from Mexico all the way to the Canadian border. So you got to watch that weather there. But the best thing is just to be weather aware when you're out there, and always use the apps, any app that you can find that will give you the information. I'm not going to sit here and tell you got to use this app because it's awesome. But the most important thing out there is to just make sure that you are safe. And the way you stay safe is planning. Plan your routes, plan what's in your truck, plan your maintenance items. Everything boils down to planning so that you don't put yourself in a situation where you're thinking, dang it, I should have done that. We've already seen snow in northern Wyoming, snow in Washington, and I've heard reports of snow in Arizona already, which is crazy. It's in the higher elevations, but still, snow in Arizona this early in the year, that's pretty early snow. So just be careful out there. Watch all your stuff. Make sure your truck's ready to go, and make sure you have the supplies in your truck that will make you safe while you're out here on the road. So that's about all I got for this one. Hope that you're getting loads and making money. And as always, have safe travels, and I hope to see you on the road.